getting a dive versus dive, although it's not going to be a mirror. Gargoyle is going to be onto the Iron Fist, and Terra is letting the Daredevil out of Hell's Kitchen.
If I remember correctly, this is the first time we have seen Gargoyle play the Fist of Fury. So it's going to be, if he has been preparing this in the sidelines as he's able to find an engagement onto Terra, who has to swing his sticks over to safety as Gargoyle looking to reposition yet again, and the rest of 100 Thieves and Reject have to scrap it out. Keep in mind, this is their moment. They have to go off or else they are eliminated from this entire tournament.
This Angela is getting to do so much, both peeling the dive but also enabling it on the end of Reject. So far, neither of these teams have been able to pick up that first point cap as we're trying to build towards one of those ultimates. 100 Thieves don't have the symbiotic shenanigans anymore, which was the one-sided advantage that they had. And it's going to be first blood going to the side of Thieves, but that's immediately going to be counterplayed by the BRB coming on through to potentially res one of them, as Marvel on the Captain America is able to take delenaa down, who was so close to getting the first Galactic Legend, and still, with the mobility that we're seeing from both of these two teams, none of them are giving an inch until now. 100 Thieves managed to clear Marvel off and pick up first cap.
And they're able to get a decent man advantage. 100 Thieves take control, and something that we have been talking about on the side of Reject, right? They are really good at focusing down key members that have their ultimates, but as of late we haven't seen that as much nowadays, as Reject just seem to be a little bit out of sync. It's going to be all up to here if they're able to regroup, recollect themselves, and find a way back in, whereas 100 Thieves look to make the offensive move, look to push on even further.
This is going to be the problem for Reject, though. Playing dive into a retake situation is a lot harder than one when you're in control of the space. So the Starlord with Finale is doing a lot to be able to clear out these angles and work out where 100 Thieves are positioned. Out comes the Galactic Legend, powered up by the E from that AoE, and Harvey has been picked, which means that 100 Thieves don't get the BRB. Out comes its Jab, also at the same time as Malenia, as delenaa pops his own Starlord ultimate to try to keep a track of Dobi's location and take him down, as Terra's immediately on top of him too.
delenaa able to take to the skies, try to find a pick, but he's not able to do so as Vinnie goes down into the depths as the Heaven's Retribution tethers him into place. 100 Thieves, they are climbing, they are getting closer to that round one win, but Reject looking to fight right back, but Marvel does get picked off, but does come back thanks to the BRB. IZaYaKI and Gargoyle look to team up with their own ultimates, but aren't able to find the key picks, as Harvey just barely able to get the CYA down in time before he even goes down, as delenaa and Vinnie take full advantage of that 40% damage boost and will just take over this round number one.
The follow-up, the Angela's mobility being able to keep a track of delenaa's location too, so that when the solid looks for one, the Angela is there to be able to tip that damage over into an elimination is absolutely massive. We're about to go into overtime. Reject do not currently have a player on that strange. They're going to be relying on the mobility instead to tap onto one of those positions and keep the overtime bar in play, but Terra is able to take advantage of an isolated IZaYaKI. No rocket, one less heal, and also no BRB station to bring these players back from the edge.
Somehow Reject are still stalling well, but that's where it ends. As soon as I finish this sentence, 100 Thieves take over round number one, and Reject in this map number one. Best of 5, keep that in mind. So this is no longer a sprint of a series. We are going to experience a marathon as Reject need to find a way back. Taking a look at the ultimate economy, 100 Thieves have a lot to work with.
Reject think that they've worked out the answer to this. We're going to be seeing Piggy over to the Anna, Gargoyle onto the Adam, but again, Terra finds these isolated players. No rocket to bring them back, and now it's a 6 versus 5, and 100 Thieves are in the element, just pushing into Reject, playing that rush down. However, the Soulbind buys the opportunity for Reject to flip the script, and they've been able to find one of those trades, but Terra gets brought back, and it's going to be a Galactic Legend instead, supplied by Finale to try and cut them off before they go onto the point.
But it looks like delenaa is able to find another Galactic Legend, but isn't able to find one until now as DDobi goes down. But Malenia sends 2 down into the abyss, but Marvel is able to trade TTK as well, contributing to this fight as 100 Thieves look to take over yet again. That site still not in control, not in their grasp until now, as Reject rejected away from the site.
That's going to be rough as well because they did go down to the HGF. However, that does mean that HGF is not there to interfere with Gargoyle's ultimate, who is going to be there as TTK. TTK is just scanning, trying to figure out where exactly Reject are going to rotate from. And that's the thing when you have a flying Vanguard. Look at the amount of information that TTK has.
They have no idea.
First being cleared. They have to go onto the point. They're trying to pull him down. He's so low, but he's able to get right back to the LOS of the Cosmic Ion Amplifier. But in the meantime, Reject were able to flip the point.
All gas, no brakes for 100 Thieves. So many ultimates available on Reject, but with the picks coming in left, right, and center, it makes it difficult for Reject to find a way back into the sky. Piggy even having to resort to that Doctor Strange switch and has to join his team with the portal, while Marvel is just stalling and stalling, trying to buy enough time for Piggy to swirl his fingers around and try to manifest a portal into existence, and they're able to do so successfully. But the Heaven's Retribution and the Devil out from Terra are just shredding down Reject as Gargoyle forced to use his own ultimate as IZaYaKI needs to find a way to keep the team healthy and alive. But delenaa takes his guys yet again, and Terra needs to find more picks, but Gargoyle will quickly deny them from it.
Oh my goodness, Gargoyle does get taken down by Terra, but he still has...
Oh my god, Dobi!
Dobi gets both the benefits of it, but you have to go off the map. Otherwise, they're just going to be able to recover as Malenia shows. Anything you can do, I can do, well, not quite better, because Reject had one extra player taken off of the map. The crucial thing here is, though, the Thieves, Malenia didn't go off. They still have one of their strategists to back them up and keep this fight going.
Reject only down one member, but Finale with the Galactic Legend needs to rocket his way back onto the site. Vinnie is threatening them with a feast. Will he eat good here as Vinnie just trying to buy as much time as possible? 100 Thieves now down a member, but Gargoyle was quickly traded away. Finale is trying to shoot away from the skies as he's able to laser down hxrvey. Vinnie now caught out in a flank position, now getting skewered right onto the site. This is not a time that Vinnie wants to dive just yet, and he will Tarzan his way out to safety.
100 Thieves think that this is winnable. Terra's onto the Doctor Strange looking for that portal. Recontest, the piece of the abyss comes on through from Vinnie. Sets up the pick with TTK on the follow-up. The Assassin Spear manages to catch both strategists. And it's up to Reject in overtime. They have to give. The flip comes through. 100 Thieves will be able to claim it. And now this is just a matter of resetting quickly so that you don't allow 100 Thieves to start shoring up the ultimate economy.
Reject were able to get to 99%. 100 Thieves want to look to do the same. How does 100 Thieves approach this situation? Look at the minimap on the top left. Reject looking to make a rotational play. Need to find a different angle in as TTK and Vinnie, the two vanguards of 100 Thieves, are just screening away Reject from any form of retake happening as Terra and TTK teaming up to take down Finale, the star player, on Reject. And looks like Reject needs to find a way to either stall or back away before they get staggered even further.
The Heaven's Retribution comes on through from Piggy. Reject are trying to just force 100 Thieves into sinking their ultimate economy in this fight. It is going to come at the cost of the Cosmic Ion Amplifier, but 100 Thieves are still going to be able to hold on to pretty much everything else for that composition. Gargoyle, though, is so close to that Karmic Revival. It's going to be a last fight situation, potentially, as Reject keep losing players out of sync with the rest of their team. This is 100 Thieves just continuing to apply pressures that Reject can't disengage.
Gargoyle does have the cocoon, so he will be able to get back into the fray quickly. But Dobi is able to chomp onto Vinnie. But can Vinnie get away to safety? Can he swing his way back to a fight? It looks like he almost falls into the abyss, but just barely is able to hang on as Terra and the rest of 100 Thieves look to take advantage of a slight misplay as Malenia does swallow up Marvel. And this time, the frag is successful. hxrvey comes back, brings Terra back thanks to the BRB, I'm sorry, as delenaa takes the skies, as everyone 100 Thieves feasting, taking to the skies. They control the skies, they control the seas as Reject fall to pieces. 100 Thieves looking to come back in round number 2, but Marvel wants to keep the stall going. A desperate portal attempt as Gargoyle also switches over to the Wolverine to try to kidnap any sort of 100 Thieves member back into the site. but 100 Thieves look to hold, look to stall, but Reject are able to float onto the site, but it might be denying the inevitable. 100 Thieves with a 2-0 in the map will take over Krakoa.
Yeah, those portal plays and also the swaps coming up for
These teams are struggling to get that ultimate timings down, and right now they are able to secure the Venom for themselves. Rocket also going to be denied onto Reject, so no BRB, no CYA available to them, and most importantly, no Star-Lord, because he's going to get tanked a little bit without that portal.
Yes, and I mean, we got to see what exactly players like Bobo could do with that, right?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
super deep of the Star-Lord, use your own Reject. Ultron is very good at staying on top of Storm, and a lot of these attacking teams have been playing Storm for the Spawn Break with that damage boost, so Finale is going to be able to keep an eye on delenaa's angles, but will suffer into Terra on the Winter Soldier, as 100 Thieves are going to start things off, moving over to the objective, and utilizing both the Strange and Groot Walls as coverage to push and invade into Reject's position so that they can get close enough with the Goddess boost to walk in a target.
Reject are playing very, very aggressive, but that might cost them in the end, as Malenia and delenaa both teaming up to find two. Now Reject are a little bit fragmented, as a third of their team is no longer in the fight. And look at the immediate response from Reject. They're just going to run away, run for the hills, but 100 Thieves are chasing right after them.
Terra through that portal's already on a really rough angle for Reject to have to deal with into this Reject. They're giving up yet more and more space, as that Winter Soldier is already 50% to his ultimate. Because Reject have been playing so spread, there isn't actually going to be something like an invisible boundary to be able to stop it.
Piggy's
Terra
gone.
manages to knock Piggy off the map with the tainted voltage over the pit, and Reject now just have to rely on Gargle and Marble to stall.
Terra on this Bucky becomes a no-fly zone for Reject. That corner, that place where Piggy could have played around, is his demise. Piggy could have used the Assassin's Charge to throw people into some environmental KOs, but TTK will find a KO of his own, and Finale and DDobi, the two strategists on this team, need to team up to find a way back in, but it looks like they're going to concede that first point.
Reject going to be swapping now Piggy off of the Angela because of the aerial threats over to the Emma to stop the rush time potential of 100 Thieves composition, but Vinnie does have the Strangling Prison, and Malenia the It's Jeff, as Terra goes to his staple hero, something that we haven't got to see in a while. He's on the Wolverine.
Wolverine for Terra, the adjustment coming in from that Bucky pick, but here comes the offensive from 100 Thieves. So many ultimates, it's another Jeff NATO, but on the streets of Araco as delenaa swallows up all of Reject, but now Reject have a chance to clap back here, but 100 Thieves still have a decent amount of ultimates available. DDobi is able to spit out two members of 100 Thieves, so they're going to be a little bit fragmented, but IZaYaKI of all people are going to find two eliminations as he's able to support the team and support the team with more frags. And Reject looking to try and stall what is this 100 Thieves offense that is going so well right now.
It's not a full reset though from the side of the attackers. They still have the space to be directly on top of the defense, and they think that it's winnable. Psionic Seduction gets entirely prevented by TTK's Eye of Agamotto. A blink and you'll miss an Emma ultimate moment, and Reject now have to rely on the Freedom Charge from Marvel, but that's just not going to be able to stand up to the heals per second by Harvey's invisible boundary, and 100 Thieves are going to be able to win this fight out and only have to fight through one or potentially none more if they can prevent Reject's players from tapping onto this objective and stalling it, and the Groot Wall is looking to do just that.
The Force Physics trying to keep Marvel at bay, but the portal does come in, so props to Marvel for being able to stall on that site, but Terra and TTK teaming up yet again, defining two eliminations as Terra just slashes down the Land Shark, turn him into sashimi as 100 Thieves secure that second point.
Terra is going to be swapping now, potentially off of the Wolverine, but he's so close to that last stand. It's going to be channeled over to 50% charge on the Daredevil, because look at what Reject have done. Gargoyle goes over to the Psylocke. The Daredevil's going to be able to keep a track of exactly the off angle that Gargoyle wants to hit, so that Finale does not get anywhere near the amount of space and pressure off of him to set up this Phoenix on those stacked angles, as we're going to see delenaa now with that Kraken attack, looking for a hook, trying to grab someone from Reject off of the high ground and deposit them onto the low.
Reject adjusted their team composition a little bit. Finale on the Phoenix, Gargoyle on the Psylocke. But there is a response from 100 Thieves. delenaa does go down empty-handed. Vinnie also going down empty-handed as Finale picks up a double with the left and right click simultaneously. But Terra might be the problem for Gargoyle as Gargoyle wants to look for a flank play, but that Daredevil can see it all as Finale, the star of the show, the star from stage 1 and stage 2 in Asia, coming up huge yet again.
DDobi's over to the Luna as well, so that he can give things like the Idol or a Snowflake over to one of his DP duelists who are going to be playing on those off angles. Gargoyle having to deal with an aggressive 100 Thieves who portal directly back into this fight. Out comes the dance of the butter, or rather not the dance of the place, the shift coming on out from Gargoyle's end to be able to clean up onto Malenia. He goes through the portal looking for an opportunity to use this ultimate, sees the spread of these players, let the Devil Light first comes on through from the side of 100 Thieves, but the dance of the butterflies cuts them down low enough that Reject are able to clean on up. And this should be a hold, although Gargoyle was a little bit too aggressively close to 100 Thieves spawn, and there's now an opening. They don't have to clear the Psylocke to be able to rotate into some of these side angles.
100 Thieves were able to push so far forward, so far quickly that they're so close to that third point. And now Reject have to hold off the offense of 100 Thieves that takes them 2.5 minutes as Marvel charges up the Meteor. Can he find the value? Looks like he's not able to, but hxrvey still forced to use that invisible boundary as Vinnie just being an absolute nuisance in the back line of Reject as the Cutterfly comes out for delenaa. But is it lethal? The answer will be no until I say so, as IZaYaKI does go down with the final slash. Malenia swallows up 2 members of his own, but is able to find one of the enemy. But he's only going to use it to separate the team as Vinnie gets stunned up.
What a big freeze from DDobi. After the fate of both worlds had been used, that piece, I think that's going to be brutal. It's got to be used now. TTK floats above everybody.
Oh, he found Finale!
Finds the interception onto Finale, taking out the Phoenix, and now Reject are missing one of those massive parts of burst damage. Kraken Impact comes on through, catches the Emma. Someone's got to go back onto that. He's looking for the resets. He's putting the pressure onto the strategists on the sidelines, and the rest of the team have the mobility to be able to keep up with it. Down to the butterflies from Gargoyle is just pushing 100 Thieves off of the objectives that Reject get an opportunity to regroup, but 100 Thieves are taking players out one by one until Reject are entirely done with their objective presence.
As Reject looking to get the push going, and they're going to opt to go for the Punisher as well as the Storm to help with that rollout.
No Jeff NATO currently built up. They're going to be trying to build over towards it. They do have to worry about hxrvey with the doppelgangers and the regen domain being able to heal all the way through it, as we get to see 100 Thieves making that move. Symbiotic shenanigans with a great force physics comes on for IZaYaKI, displacing Vinnie's exit, and Reject are still able to hold their position somewhat in front, but that's exactly where TTK and the Magneto wants to be playing from. Gets to use both the shield and the bubble to keep himself safe, and Reject are deprived their Punisher, which means they just don't have the melt damage necessary to hold 100 Thieves back.
But so far, the push is looking good for Reject. They're able to get 2 picks back to back and back as Marvel finds another Finale, stacks up to find another as well. 100 Thieves are falling apart. They're getting staggered off the get-go as Reject look to chug on forward, move Araco forward. But how much further until 100 Thieves try to find the stall happen?
One of the big things as well for Reject, because 100 Thieves don't have the ammo, is they don't have to hold Final Judgment to act as a counter component to the Psionic Seduction. TDK swaps over to the Stranger, 100 Thieves flipping map position immediately. They've got the regen domain to cushion their landing as Terra closes up. But there's against Marvel on the group, using him as a scratching post and denying the setup of Strangling Prison into an actual wombo combo, either the Final Judgment or the Jeff NATO.
NATO available for Reject. Marvel as well has the Strangling Prison. So this wombo combo that you are setting up could be devastating. Everyone on Reject have their ultimate, and it's a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when will Reject pull the trigger, whereas 100 Thieves also moving closer and closer to their own ultimates. We might see a 6v6 as the ultimates start raining down as Gargoyle gets picked off the rip as he's forced into the sidelines. Finale and IZaYaKI teaming up to use their ultimates to try to provide as much damage damage as possible. There are so many people in the pit, but Finale picks up a double. Malenia is able to spit down Marvel, but the rest of 100 Thieves are looking to claw back, kicking and screaming. But Dobi able to swallow up a strategist from 100 Thieves, and he is sent to the abyss. But TTK trades yet again, and these back and forth and back again. Push and pull is the name of the game for both of these teams.
Yeah, the E doesn't deny the line of sight from hxrvey onto delenaa though, so he's still able to use the God of Mischief to copy into the invis boundary, and 100 Thieves hold that position around this corner. The from Terra, that's what you have to worry about, the corner!
Oh my god!
Stand manages to collapse onto everyone from Reject. IZaYaKI punishes the overextension from the Wolf, however, as Gargoyle goes aggressively into 100 Thieves backline, forcing out the Regen domain with the use of the Hurricane, and that should be Reject pushing 100 Thieves out, and they're going to go for a full reset. They don't have the Strange Portal, but there's enough distance before we hit first checkpoint that they're going to have another fight.
100 Thieves have time to regroup. They are able to move past that environmental risky area as the rest of Reject moving, inching closer and closer. 100 Thieves looking to make a stop happen, but there is Marvel in the backline trying to disrupt what is left. The lamps are used by that Loki of hxrvey, and now 100 Thieves are down to one key ability, but look at TTK. He is so close to that Eye of Agamotto flying, taking to the skies, but will not opt to use it just yet as 100 Thieves find that early pick onto Gargoyle.
Terra swapped over to the Star-Lord as well to play anti-flyer over to Gargoyle on that Storm, who now has to swap over to the Psylocke just to be able to get it a little bit faster. Eye of Agamotto looks for an opening. The force physics is good, but it still finds the connection onto two. Finale gets the final judgment off. Piggy's going to be able to entirely bodyguard it with the use of the Meteor M.
Oh my god, he goes down.
Have an actual strategist ultimate once the Meteor M has been cooked. Finale is just too vulnerable, and 100 Thieves find the pick to shut the win condition down. Overtime starts to come into play. It's Jeff loops around the objective, and it's Malenia who's been able to make away with Piggy.
And that's
as well, Vic. Listen, finish strong. We've seen OUG and Crazy Raccoon, same thing. They were able to take...
They're going to be set up for triple strategist, but 2-2-2 has worked so well for them.
And look at this. I can't believe it. We have Mantis and Loki on blast.
draft at the very least.
Concern screaming, I think, sums up my state right now, because 100 Thieves, as Des pointed out, not only got the Mantis, they also got hxrvey's Loki, they also got Vinnie's group, which is absolutely huge for them, as we're going to see Finale actually on that Jeff pushed all the way up to try and get the knockback onto TTK, who is group walled by Vinnie to prevent the knockback from stopping that Strange Portal, and off of the back of this, Reject are going to have to flip their map, and essentially we go into a parallel dimension. 100 Thieves are going to be on defensive side and Reject the attack.
Yep, Reject forced into the middle area of the offense part of the map. The neutral area essentially flipped on its head. Reject and 100 Thieves need to find an opening, need to find a way to get their ultimates as soon as possible. Malenia very close, but Vinnie as well also close, but Terra finds that opening duel onto IZaYaKI.
I mean, you might have taken out Beyblade tech from the game, you haven't taken out stun tech, something that Dobi is going to be finding out the hard way, as 100 Thieves with that Mantis do have the regen domain with the damage boost, not just the sustainability. TTK is also going to be able to take out Marvel before the invis boundary can come on through, and waits for his opportunity to catch the strangling prison onto the strategist when the Vanguards aren't there to body block, if they even need it, because all of the fighting took place off of the objective in the side room, since Reject had lost all of the space because of the map flip rotation force from the Strange Portal, which means that 100 Thieves just picked up first and are already all the way onto the high ground of second.
Seemingly record time, 100 Thieves were able to secure that first point, and no one on Reject were able to match the pace that 100 Thieves have been giving them. 100 Thieves, this is a team that like to use their ultimates first. All gas, no brakes. That is their mentality when it comes to these convergence maps, and they do just that. And look at the economy now. Reject still struggling to find key ultimates, whereas 100 Thieves, look at all of them, check marks across the board.
They're just going first. Reject aren't getting any opportunity. They could maybe have used the Sonic Seduction coming on through from the side of Piggy, but unfortunately for them, they're playing into a Seraphim shield in the hands of TTK, because they banned out his Emma, which means that everyone stacked up in those hallways are behind the Doctor Strange shield and would have been covered from the Emma ultimate, which meant that they got to go first with the Ensong Inferno into Reject's backline and then put the pressure in when they caught the disengage. And off of the back of that, they've been able to continue their momentum and still hold on to this high ground. Reject have barely gotten the opportunity to use an ult.
this might be their best shot, right? They have their ultimates finally by 100 Thieves. Look how much they've been able to push. Already so close to that second point, but look at this. Here comes the offensive coming in from Malenia, Vinnie, and delenaa. All of them joining forces to combine their ultimates to find the eliminations, but Marvel is able to find a pick onto Malenia. hxrvey copies with the eye and Vagamoto from TTK, only stunning Piggy, but it's enough to burst him down. And 100 Thieves still looking strong, looking good, and they continue their heist forward.
There's no wombo combo off of the Ensong Inferno either. Gargoyle is forced to use it in a hallway when he's on his lonesome, just trying to get the health reset. As we head into third with 5 minutes on the time bank for 100 Thieves, and desperate measures are now going to be coming on through from the side of the defense. Longer line of sights means that we're going to see Finale swap over to the Hela, trying to disrupt and stall out 100 Thieves rotation, which is then going to feed into the setup opportunity for Gargoyle on the Wolverine to be able to close up the distance and put pressure on Vinnie.
Reject do have the option to go for the Namor pick. You could use the Hela Namor team up, but that comes at a price of securing these angles. But look at the 100 Thieves. They have so much control right now. And Terra dinks down. Finale slams down onto DDobi. As Terra, this has really been the Terra show, the Terra cinematic universe.
There's no wombo combo needed, as we can actually see 100 Thieves use TTK Strange Portal to block the choke from Reject to be able to not disengage the push when Terra uses the Ensong Inferno, and he's getting these so often because of the damage boost. There's the pick potential of the Hela composition. It claims the life of hxrvey, which 100 Thieves now going to have to give a little bit of respect over to the defense, given how close the respawn is. What a sleep coming out onto Gargoyle, but the elimination isn't there. The grab does come through onto the Groot, as everyone from Reject knows that they need to target the Strangling Prison before it can come on through. Finale goes too low, goes for the Goddess of Death, tries to catch the disengagement as 100 Thieves straight, but he has to immediately burn the Astral Flock because that isn't a health reset the way the Phoenix ult is.
Reject were able to push a little bit further. We're able to take control of the point, but that's gonna take them so much work, so many resources used, so much time invested, and 100 Thieves have so much time. They're willing to give up some of the space.
But Reject, this is what they wanted, right? They swapped to the Hela for this exact situation. Now you have the pick potential without ultimate economy at range, which is where the Phoenix does struggle. She's good in the close and to mid distance in comparison to the Hela. So Terra's having to close up the distance and put all of the pressure onto Finale, utilizing his boosts to clear the off angle of both her and the Invis woman.
Gargoyle gets a kidnap onto Vinnie, but Vinnie is saved thanks to TTK from the bubble, but Finale in the backline was able to take down Terra. But all the ultimates on 100 Thieves are waiting and ready to be used, but Reject have that same resource as well. A lot of their ultimates could come down into this final fight as we head to the 2.5 minute mark on the timer. hxrvey and TTK teaming up. Vinnie trying to lock everyone down into the Meteor. Will find IZaYaKI as TTK needs to find the screen onto the counter Meteor end, but Marvel wasn't able to find a whole lot as hxrvey used that Soul Resurgence to keep everyone alive and everyone fast moving.
Terra is going to have the Ensong Inferno. Reject don't have anything to deal with it. IZaYaKi's got to go for the copy. The regen, I mean, is out on the field, as is the last stand, directly into the slow so that the 100 Thieves cannot escape the Wolverine's clutches. And off of the back of that,
my god!
It's a huge eat! Oh my god! Image from that one duelist that it is a-okay to just play a Hela as a hyper carry.
100 Thieves now also running the triple composition. Terra switching over to the Hela to provide that poke composition some extra firepower. Reject though looking more of a dive sort of identity as Gargoyle piloting that Wolverine hero. And now Reject needs to find a way in. They're not going to opt to use the Strange Portal off the rip. Instead, they're just going to brute force their way through the middle neutral area. And 100 Thieves, I think they're happy with going for that.
There was a split spotted, and Terra's actually able to clear it. Gargoyle was looking to take away that high ground. Now he's going to run for that Hela, but he also runs directly into the jab, so has to abandon the position clearing of that angle, leaving it up for Terra. As we do see Reject, like you said, going for those side rotations so that they don't have the long angles for the Hela to finish. But even close off of the back of the cooldown Soldier, and it's so devastating for even a hero like Phoenix to go into the 1v1 against the Hela. If the elimination isn't immediate, she always walks away with that pick. As we can see that Finale is off of the Phoenix onto the Hela, and we have ourselves a snipe off.
Yep, Hella versus Hella, Terra versus Finale. The star player from America against the star player of Asia as Gargoyle slashes down, but Finale is able to finish off Vinnie. As Finale looks to reposition, has to flock away. But for now, Reject with a man advantage, and Piggy extends it to go down to the hands of that Emma Frost as Reject secure that first point finally.
Technically, it's actually free as well, quite literally to the hands of the Emma Frost because of the Carbon Crush, setting up the hold long enough for Gargoyle to be able to keep the rage generated with those Wolverine Adamantium Claws, as we're going to see 100 Thieves look to sweep the momentum away from Reject. We've got Terra moving over to the Daredevil, looking to cleave everybody in terms of that melee fight. There's a regeneration domain with the damage boost. Marvel's going to be able to absorb all of the incoming damage, though, with the use of that Meteor Amp, but 100 Thieves still think that this is winnable. Soul Resurgence comes on through. IZaYaKI got the copy onto a Hella and makes it work. Delenaa taken off of the map and Reject with the aggressive copy.
Oh my God.
Are able to shut down 100 Thieves.
Who knew that a double Hella would work out in that scenario? 100 Thieves just go down, and due to the range and firepower from Reject, IZaYaKI and Finale teaming up. I don't think 100 Thieves were aware of that.
No, Delenaa's now going to be going over to that Psylocke as well to put pressure on this Hella, try and distract her long enough that Terra can close up the distance and get that pick off. But Reject very much in the driver's seat at the moment with the ultimates that they have available. It's going to be an off-angle approach up against Finale, and there it is. The Hella did not have the protection from Dobby because he was in position to use the Invis Boundary with the rest of the team stack instead.
Terra quickly switching over to the Daredevil, realizes that Finale on this Hella will be too much of a problem, so he switches over to the Daredevil to spot out Finale if he is in an aggressive situation. Gargoyle is able to find TTK. Delenaa gets entranced by the Psionic Seduction, and Marvel will finish him off. Vinnie pops that Freedom Charge, weighing out the Star Spangled Path, but Malenia looking for an opportunity to go for a good Jeff ultimate as Finale up to the skies, but the speech bubble appears for Malenia, and that meets his demise. Finale now landing the shots, raining down hell on 200D, who have to look to reset quickly.
This Goddess of Death is being used as well to keep the Jeff ultimate in checks, and Malenia is going to be off Jeff over to the Invis Woman instead. Delenaa is so close to the Dance of the Butterflies though, and it's all going to come down to IZaYaKI to hold on to the regen domain. Out comes the Let the Devil out, stacking the damage for TTK, but the interception the moment that he becomes vulnerable from Gargo with the Wolverine, gets the Feral Lunge and shuts it down. Dance of the Butterflies purely onto Finale's position, will be able to clean up one of those duelist players, but Reject still have the Invis Boundary, and 100 Thieves have no choice but to invade into that space or give up second.
Oh my gosh, it's getting so close. We're getting a wide view of this entire fight ensuing. Everyone on 100 Thieves, everyone on Reject know what's at stake. There is so much on the line. It's either you move on in the lower bracket or you fall and get sent home. Harvey opens up the dance floor, one of the most important dance floors he might ever play, as Marvel will find Terra, Delenaa finds IZaYaKI, and Reject trade it right back. Marvel picks up a double, and that second point finally handed over to Reject.
Ultimate economy as well on the end of Thieves. Got a little bit burnt there with Fate of Both Worlds from Harvey's end to just try and keep the stall contesting. And Reject are still going to have Finale on this Hella too. So Delenaa's going to be sticking with the Psylocke, but Terra is over to the Star-Lord instead, really wanting to put pressure onto both the Hella, but also marking Gargo on this Wolverine. Should be able to, with the Mantis damage boost, push up to a very quick Galactic Legend build, as he's just going to go in aggressively, gets the Magneto bubble, everybody looks at him, has to react, and that allows 100 Thieves to close up the distance and play against Reject, who had no choice. They have to use the Psionic Seduction to try and stall out the aggressive play.
And now Reject need to group up yet again. Finale switches over to the Phoenix. The Jean Grey is going to be the decision that Reject have to go. It's overtime or bust right now for Reject. They don't want to go home now. They don't want to go home at all. As Terra takes the skies, as there's a response with the invisible boundary, but the Devil not being used. Terra and Malenia and TTK. So will Delenaa, as everyone dumps their ultimates. IZaYaKI copies the ultimate of the Luna Snow thanks to the Goddess of Mischief, or the God of Mischief, I should say, as Gargoyle also close to his ultimate as well. The Star Spangled Path laid out again from Vinnie, as 100 Thieves need to find the defense going. 2 minutes left on the clock now.
The overlap of Meteor M and Invis Boundary might just have cost Reject that map, as they both used it in reaction to Terra's Galactic Legend and had none of the shutdown potential to combine it with Finale's Endsong Inferno to find the pick onto hxrvey through this Fate of Both Worlds. This is going to be such a rough part of recovery for Reject to be able to turn around, especially because look at how deep 100 Thieves are, all the way into attacker spawn to make sure that there's no strange portal shenanigans and that there isn't a map flip behind their back.
If 100 Thieves are able to pull the point back under that little tunnel area, this is a place where Reject had a hard time pushing through. It's also naturally a difficult area to retake, especially being in that enclosed little area. It's going to be so hard for Reject to get the retake going, especially when you can't get the angle of the Endsong Inferno perfectly as Finale dives right in, but Marvel and IZaYaKI look to clean up 100 Thieves. They've already got 2. They just need to find 4 more if they want to move this point even further into OT.
This is just about 100 Thieves putting the bodies onto the objective and stalling it out. We're not going to see any ultimates committed. It's going to be a full regroup coming on through from the side of the defense. So for Reject, it's all about preventing it, and that's where the Phoenix gets to come into play. Finale catching so many stuns onto these players as they come out from those spawns, but 100 Thieves are out breaking around the first corner. They've got the invisible boundary, they've got the Meteor M. They're going to have to hold it though as Psionic Seduction comes through first into the Invis boundary. They're looking to heal through from it. The CC is
good bubble.
But the huge block comes on through from Marvel with the curtain, and 100 Thieves still haven't been able to find the eliminations to close out this fight.
Delenaa has to use this Soul Resurgence to just stall for Vinnie's ultimate, whereas Reject dumped a lot of their resources as well, but a great bubble, keeping IZaYaKI alive, keeping that ultimate alive, and well as DDobi is able to find the opening pick onto Delenaa. This might be the domino effect that Reject need if they want to force an overtime scenario. 100 Thieves have to rely on Terra with that Galactic Legend, and so does Vinnie with that Freedom Charge, but Reject still standing tall, staying on that point as the overtime meter comes up on the top of the screen. Everyone on Reject playing for their lives in this tournament. Everyone knows what's at stake. 100 Thieves want to ruin that push.
Terra is taken down, was so close to the Endsong Inferno. Terra comes on through with the massive pick, but Reject still have players, and they're getting to focus down every single time that 100 Thieves have to put one of their players onto the objective to keep overtime in play. They go into an outnumbered fight. Regen domain from IZaYaKI as well is going to be able to keep everybody alive as the strange portal comes back into the mix, and Reject gets Finale back into the play. IZaYaKI's next cycle now of the invisible boundary comes on through. 100 Thieves don't have an aggressive ultimate to cancel it, and that's going to be a full push in overtime in comparison to the 2-minute stock that 100 Thieves find on their clock.
Welcome to overtime, ladies and gentlemen, here on...
Off on the attack, let's see how much they can get. With 100 Thieves almost at 3 minutes time bank, this has to be first as a pickup. And like you said, this is different. We're going to be seeing the strange portal. We're getting all of the body blocking coming on through, but Gargoyle's actually over to the magic, so they can jump into the backline, chain the strategists together, and force them having to stack directly into all of the aggressive plays that Reject want to cleave Finale through with on this Daredevil.
They know Reject know they don't have much time to work with, only a single minute to work with, but now everyone on Reject just falling to pieces already. Half the time already expended as 100 Thieves now having to defend what could be a full hold. Blink and you miss it, Reject might be at the back foot yet again.
No tick percentage picked up for Reject in that push. Marvel's got to go over to the Captain America. We're going to see Piggy onto the Angela, just looking to keep the point in place so that overtime gets an opportunity for Reject to gain a hold on this objective. Dobi's even onto the rocket, and it's not to be. 100 Thieves shot.
Reject really didn't do a whole lot in that first overtime round. Now we head into the second, where 100 Thieves is their turn to get at least a third on that site, and that's all that matters. As a little bit of a cheese play coming in from Reject to try to stall what 100 Thieves want to do, and now thanks to the group wall protecting TTK, he will be able to give 100 Thieves safe passage, a plan that they did in their first time on the offense.
Oh, they've taken away Reject's safe space. That's normally the back room that the backline likes to kite into to disengage the attack from main. And yet again, Reject are forced to flip the map entirely. However, Gargoyle and the Wolverine is not going to give 100 Thieves free entry onto this room. Vinnie's looking for the isolation, has to deal with Piggy on the Emma, has been able to wall off the Emma almost entirely, but he's able to make it to the shield of his Strange to get fully stabilized by the rest of this team. And we still have limbo in terms of point control.
But the pressure's all on Reject. They cannot afford to go down. If they do go down, they have to make a long way back onto the point. And with only 100 Thieves, only have to control a third of the site. They might be able to just do it. Blink and you miss it. Everyone on 100 Thieves locking in, making sure that they get to that third of that site, and it looks like that's all she wrote. 100 Thieves seize the symbiotic surface, and they will shut down what is left of Reject. 3-0, the final score for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it felt like Reject were a little bit hands tied in terms of composition that they could run, right? This was why we were saying it's really important that they actually get through first and into second, because if they had, they would have been able to field something like the Hela and the Namor with that pick potential on the defense. But because it was purely one tick that was needed on the side of 100 Thieves, if they'd gone for something like the Hela and the Namor and pushed themselves into an isolated off angle, that